There you go. Put bricks on the wall.
No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. Fuck white supremacy. Fuck white supremacy. Fuck white supremacy.
Good evening, welcome back to the Dangerous Faggot Tour. It seemed natural to start the tour in Texas because you love freedom. I'm going to talk to you today about hate crime hoaxes and why it is that a particular minority group we are all encouraged to treat nicely seems to be remarkably adept and seems to have a habit of creating hate crime hoaxes. We have discovered that there is one group in the LGBT spectrum that seems to have a propensity for imagining things that didn't happen, or indeed committing crimes against themselves, and they are our rug-munching friends, the lesbians. Look, for example, at this. This was scrawled on the garage of a lesbian couple, Carol Ann and Laura Stutt of Venor, Tennessee. How could people be such hurtful, intolerant bigots in 2016, in current year? Well, the answer, of course, is that they're not. And the lesbians did it. They didn't just do that, they also burnt down their own house. They burnt down their own house, tried to claim $250,000 in insurance money, saying that it was a homophobic hate crime, having their house burnt down. Luca Marie, a lesbian professor at the University of Central Michigan, who punched herself in the face at a concert and accused a random man of anti-gay violence. How much do you have to hate yourself to punch yourself in the face? Most shocking of all is the story of Charlie. This is Charlie. No, it is a woman. Charlie, behave. This is Charlie. Now, Charlie is a lesbian woman in Nebraska who claimed that 3 men in ski masks invaded her home, beat her, spray-painted her house with anti-gay slurs, carved slurs on her body, and then set fire to the house. And they say lesbians have no imagination. Kerry Dunn, guess what her job is? Second one I've had today. A professor, a lesbian professor. At Claremont, I think. Yes, Claremont claimed that racist hate slogans have been scrawled on her car. This is Azalea Cooley, a black, lesbian, wheelchair-bound cancer sufferer. No, that's not funny. What is funny is she felt the need to go for even more victimhood credentials than what she already had by faking a hate crime. She lied, and she said that racists had lit a cross on fire in her porch. CCTV footage later showed her wheeling herself out and setting fire to it herself. Sarah Kasperite, there we go, there's Sarah. Sarah Kasperite, a student in Oklahoma, claimed that homophobes carved the word lesbian into her flesh. Imagine that. Imagine a crime like that. Well, she did it to herself. Anyway. Like any set of ideas, Islam is like a religion. Any set of ideas, it deserves to be scrutinized. Well, I have scrutinized it, and I have found it wanting. I have found it lacking. Everywhere there is Islam, you will find women oppressed. Everywhere there is Islam, you will find... You're wearing a hijab in the United States of America. What is wrong with you? You see, they want to shout you down by saying, oh, what about me? I'm not so oppressed. Well, let's move on from women. If you don't care about female genital mutilation, don't care about forced marriages, don't care about acid thrown in the faces of your Islamic sisters, if you don't care about any of those things, fine. Let's talk about gays instead. In 12 Islamic countries, I could be killed for my sexuality. Is that okay? 100 million people live in countries where it is illegal to be homosexual. All of those countries are Islamic. This is not an ISIS thing. You know, you will see gays being thrown off the roof in ISIS-controlled territories. But this has nothing to do with terrorism. This is mainstream Muslim culture. Your religion does it everywhere your religion exists. It is a threat, an existential threat to gay people. Everywhere in the world there is Islam. You will find women oppressed, homosexuals murdered, you will find gang rape. Now, there's a unique phenomenon that doesn't really exist outside of Islamic cultures, of familial gang rape, where fathers, brothers, and cousins go out raping people together. It happened in Rotherham in the UK. And the liberal establishment in the UK didn't investigate this because, according to a government report, not a far right-wing blog, according to a government report, 1,400 young girls were raped in racially or religiously, as you choose to define it, motivated crimes, because both the police and the authorities were too scared of being called racist to intervene. And this pattern repeats itself everywhere there is mass Muslim immigration. My suggestion to you, America, is that you don't need it here. Learn your lesson from 9/11. Learn your lesson from Orlando. These socially regressive, see, they walk out when they don't like the facts. These socially regressive attitudes, of Muslims in the West are horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. The surveys show that 52% of British Muslims think that my sex life should be made illegal. 39% of them. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? Don't you want to talk about numbers? Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed of the hateful culture that surrounds your religion, that oppresses women and murders homosexuals and commits unspeakable acts of terrorism? Are you ashamed of it? Would you like to talk to us about why there's no global Muslim peace movement? Because I hear lots of very upset people at my talks complaining about statistics they can't refute. I don't hear a lot of Muslims standing up against terrorism. Or whether it is some of the Islamic hate crime hoaxes we've been seeing more recently. And these happen with alarming frequency. In fact, I've struggled to find, my research team has struggled to find a supposed hate crime against Muslims on an American college campus that did not turn out to be fake. I'll tell you about some of them. One student at the University of Louisiana admitted her attack was completely fabricated. She made the whole thing up because Trump supporters attacking a Muslim woman is simply believable to liberals fed a steady diet of hate by the fake news. This is a rare instance of the lying media actually admitting that one of its cherished hate crimes was a hoax. Normally they just move on quickly and never mention it again. Yasmin Sawi, just 18 years old in New York City, made up a similar story. She said 3 men called her a terrorist and attacked her, telling her to get out of the country. Again, it was fake. But you won't read the corrections, you only read the outrage. And here's a brand new one that can't be blamed on Trump supporters because it took place in Austria. A 14-year-old girl claimed she was attacked and that evil white men tried to rip off her hijab on a train. The police revealed it to be a complete fabrication as well. And a little closer to home. Oh, we're still having trouble at the back. 3 down. 3 down. I think if you take the second left, the airport is just Actually, no, we don't want them there, do we? It's a bit of a problem, actually. I hadn't really thought this through. I need to hear more, by the way, about, I always find it interesting to find out what the people were like who founded these organizations. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was unarguably and hideously racist. She spoke glowingly about a presentation she gave to a group of KKK women in New Jersey, and they loved her messaging about the black race so much that they asked her to come back. Messaging like this, which she wrote in a letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble. She said, "We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out the idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members." Notice that like the proto-social justice warrior, the proto-progressive that she is and she considers minorities that disagree with her to be rebellious or uppity. Black Trump supporters heard these words, and much worse, during the campaign. Margaret Sanger's goal, of course, was to diminish the black race, and one can argue she was at least partially successful. Stats about abortion by race are not always easy to find, because of course they're not. But nonetheless, they paint a compelling picture about the race reality of abortion. New York City presents itself as a strong case study. In 2012, there were more black children aborted in New York City than there were black children born alive. It was 31,000 compared to 25,000. More aborted than born. Blacks accounted for 42% of the abortions in the city, while Hispanic women accounted for another 31%. That's 73%. 3/4 of all abortions that kill black and Hispanic babies. Other national data for the Center for Bioethical Reform assert that black women are 3 times more likely to have an abortion than white women. So isn't it fascinating, that intersectional third-wave feminists fighting for abortion are so often seen arm in arm with Black Lives Matter? To any BLM members tucked away in the audience, I can conclusively say that feminists are the one group who do not believe that Black Lives matter at all.